So one of the things I would like to offer each month to you guys is a virtue. I want to talk about one value and virtue that we could be implementing or thinking about each month as we go through the year. So the first one I want to introduce for January is humility. Humility is what we call a base value. So it's the foundation of all other values, and it really is the basis for most of our actions and choices. When we can live in a humble way with a lot of humility, we tend to be happier and we tend to relate to people a lot easier in our environments because we're releasing our ego. So humility really lives on a spectrum. On one end is what we call self-debasement, and this is kind of, being really hard on ourselves and not feeling good about ourselves, having low self-value. And on the other end would be high egotism. So sometimes we can call that narcissism or self-centeredness. Different, language we can use depending on how much we want to pathologize this whole spectrum. But we want to be somewhere in the middle. So we want to be in a place where we have a healthy sense of narcissism or a strong ego that helps us show up in the world in ways that reflect our value and that we like ourselves and, we feel good about ourselves. And we want to also have a little bit of an understanding of knowing our place, right? We don't want to take over too much space, but we also don't want to make too much space for people. So like everything else we're going to talk about in the coming year, this is always about balance and being somewhere in the middle. So I wanted to just introduce this idea of humility to you. Think about where you can practice more humility or less humility in your life. A really great place to start is kind of checking in of where you get triggered around humility. Like I know personally that I sometimes can get triggered when I'm on a call or a conference call or in a group of people and you could just tell they're just taking up a lot of space, that they need a lot of attention. And I start to feel myself getting a lot of energy in my body and maybe a little stressed out. And so what that is a reminder, how that reminds me to respond is that maybe I need to speak up more. Maybe I'm stepping back and allowing this person to have too much space. So we're always going to have to kind of see where we are, what kind of people we're around, what situations we're in. So see where you're kind of showing up in a confident way and taking up the right amount of space, where you might be not showing up enough and letting other people take too much space and you're feeling resentment about that. Or maybe you're someone who's hogging a lot of space and needs to back down a little bit. So think about this spectrum of humility, how you want to think about it in your own life. And I hope that this is helpful and it encourages you to be in the world in a new way.